Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast, the podcast for real estate agents absolutely everywhere. I'm Lisa B, and during this podcast, we're going to be talking about everything real estate. What's working, what's not working, AI, automation, technology, eXp Realty, and absolutely everything to do with real estate. I'll have guest speakers as well, where we'll answer your questions from the Facebook group, Let's Talk About Real Estate. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group, make sure you do that now, and we'd be happy to help answering any question. And again, welcome to the show. Tristan Lovell from Connected Agent. Welcome to Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast again.
Thank you, Lisa. It's great to be here. Fantastic. Good to share helpful tips for the agents in your community.
Awesome to have you. And so we're going to call our little section now, our little talk, Real Estate Tech Talk, which I think is good. So we'll just keep these regular with what's happening. We were just discussing that. Part of today is going to be about lead generation, how agents can look for opportunities for leads, as well as, not miss out on those opportunities, as well as, the market's changing in some areas where days on market are longer. So what are agents going to do to focus on buyers? Because a lot of the time they're focused just on listings, and that's been predominantly, you list something and then it will sell. So as the market, sort of goes out, they've got to try and work with the buyers, which a lot of agents don't really know how to do that yet. Some of them new to the industry, all they've needed to do is list, and then buyers just come. They're the honey and the bees come. So they've got to work out strategies to be able to get buyers to their property and all that sort of thing. So we'll talk from a tech talk on how to do that. So welcome today.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Lisa. And it's very interesting what's coming up. There's going to be a lot of listings coming onto the market in spring. So we're talking now mid-July, right?
Yes.
And so everything you do right now, the next month, is going to be so important to prepare, for September, October.
Yes, absolutely.
The rest of the year, really.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about what agents can do right now, through their CRM, through their website, and to get so much more organized and prepare for quite a different market ahead. Right?
That's right. Because now is going to be the prospecting time, then they'll be selling and then get them settled before Christmas, basically. So that's your sort of lead time now, isn't it? That's sort of what they've got to plan for. Prospecting, listing, selling, settled before Christmas.
And clear your stock before September, because there is a bit of stock on the market for a lot of agents.
Yeah.
And then what do we need to do to actually make the most of the people that are interested in the current stock? Because potentially, if they buy something, then they probably have to sell something. So the buyer sellers,
yes,
we need to manage and to actually be in the running for that business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So what are we going to talk about first?
Well, let's follow that chain of thought.
Okay.
Let's talk about agents at different levels, okay, and what they can do to position themselves. And for a great spring, right? So
yes.
If you're an agent which is light on listings, and that's sort of at the beginning of their career, I'm talking to a lot of those at the moment, and giving them advice, especially in their office with high-performing agents or agents with really good momentum.
Yes.
The kind of advice that we're working through there is to actually go to and look at all the listings over the past 12 months. Okay. And a lot of the good CRMs, you'll be able to easily bring up a list of those listings. So if you don't know how to do that, there's ways of doing that in every single CRM, and do it like at a search of all the listings in a certain area that you want to focus on, and then click through each of those listings to see all the buyers which come through those listings.
Yes.
The buyer registry.
Yes.
So a lot of offices would have that notion that no one owns a buyer.
Yes.
And that, a lot of these have been neglected. All those people who are interested like 6 to 12 months ago, potentially they're actually in the running and ready to sell and buy.
Exactly. And a lot of agents don't even put that data into their CRM, so making sure that you've got your buyers in your CRM to start with. If you haven't, then start now. And then, yes, definitely prospect through the buyers that you've already got to get the listings, as well as to make sales. Yeah. And it shows the buyers that you follow up as well, when they become a seller, just the same as I followed you up. That's what I will do with buyers when they're, sort of coming through your property as well. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Look, I'm finding a lot of businesses I'm talking to, a lot of agencies actually are putting a lot of the details into the CRM. I'm finding that people have really improved that process. But even if they don't put it in the CRM, if that's the case for some agents, then there could be pieces of paper lying around with all organized in a folder or somewhere where you know, they can actually call through those people. But there's a lot of opportunity in the buyer channel. This is my message here.
Yes.
Is that a lot of the buyers that came through, if you look, you know, probably within 12 months, all those buyers that have made inquiries or come to inspections, most likely inspections, they're more serious, right? So that's why filter down on the people who have actually come and seen properties, so they're more in the market.
Yes.
More likely to be serious about selling their property. And so we're really having good, easy conversations. Hey, I saw that you came to, you know, 15 Tennyson Street 6 months ago, and have you found anything yet? Quick little question, just to lead the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. But also too, if they haven't been putting it into their database in the portals, they should be able to get that data out of the portals as well, shouldn't they? Any inquiries that come through realestate.com.
No. Unless potentially, don't know much about Ignite, but sometimes if they've actually got Ignite from REA, that's a really good solution as well. Highly recommend agencies embrace that.
Yes.
Because there's insights that can share, depends on what level. I think there's different levels of subscription to Ignite.
Yeah, but they get emails with those inquiries too.
They do.
So they can go back through. If worst comes to worst, they don't have, you know, in their database, you know, there's other ways that they can try and source back through that data as well. Yeah.
Bit messy, that one.
It is, but if they haven't got anything, you know, at least somebody's collected data for them, you know.
yeah, that's right. Look, we are, and a lot of I'm finding quite a few agents I'm working with are actually getting someone, like if you're an established agent, you got someone underneath you really helping you service the buyers.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm a big fan of is you have an established agent who's got a lot of momentum and really busy.
Yeah.
We want to remove as many sort of low dollar productive tasks, okay, which distract them from being in the living room.
Yeah.
For people who are looking to list in the next 3 to 6 months, that's their focus, right?
That's right.
So what I'm putting in place with a few people is you have someone responsible for the pipeline, right? So really making sure we're nurturing the pipeline, we're not missing out on opportunities. Anyone that's done appraisal for or listing presentation. Yeah. And then you've got the person who's responsible for the buyer management. So there's actually, you know, quite a lot to do, isn't there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And we used to call it belly to belly, you know, unless you're belly to belly, you're not really, you know, it's like, that's when it's most productive, isn't it? You know, when you're in front of a client listing or taking a buyer out. So, yeah, but yeah, a lot of agents have got those, you know, sort of business structures now where you've got the listing agent, the buyer's agent, and then like an assistant kind of thing. So that works well. Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I just want to share a metric though, which I think is really important to have benchmarks, and we'll talk about that throughout this. So benchmarking for appraisals, we really want to achieve at least 20 listing appointments per month, right? So in a way, that's 5 a week at least.
Yes.
Okay. And that's, to me, like average performance. It depends on your market, but you know, you could list, some people list 50% of those. Or 30%. Like, I think it's pretty common to be able to listing around 30%. Okay, depends on your pitch, your presentation, and how compelling you are,
and how motivated the seller is to sell. Correct. Or the vendor. Yeah,
it's time. All right, time frame for person wanting to sell. So I think if you aim for that, then that's great. Yeah, you know, and everything stems back from that. So your number one metric is really, how many appraisals am I doing per week? What do I need to do to get more appraisals? And that's sort of leading into our next conversation, right?
And I think all agents should be thinking, what property am I going to list today? Because basically, you know, the old saying, list and last. So it's like, you should always be thinking, what property am I going to list today? And then that will, you know, propel you to look for those listing opportunities as well, you know, to make that one, at least one appraisal a day. Yeah.
Well, what you're talking about there is pipeline management. Okay. And every system is quite different in how it helps you with that.
Yeah.
So, you know, Agent Box, they've got different ways of, you know, you can, with your appraisals, you can have hot, warm, cold on your appraisals, or
Yeah.
you may have, you know, on categories or tags on your contacts
Yes.
to determine whether it's someone's hot, warm, cold, or whatever you determine, to organize your pipeline. Rex has that new view where you've got like what's called a Kanban. You can actually drag tiles, you know, between hot, warm, cold, and
Yeah.
customize. So that's all new functionality from Rex. If you're using Rex and you don't know about it, have a look at properties and then appraisals pipeline. Okay, view. So that's really cool.
Okay.
So there's evolution of these platforms to help you be more organized. But what I'm a big fan of is agents having a printout, a physical printout of the prospective vendors and the phone number, everything they need on a simple report.
Yeah.
Agent Box does it really well. Rex does. If you go to custom report, you can do that. I assume you can do that in Vault as well. They're the three big CRMs, and also Box and Dice.
Yeah.
So essentially, you know, if you don't know how to do that, then work it out. Ask for help. But having that printout report to take everywhere around your pipeline. So what I'm going to list now, like as soon as possible, and also your warms, right? That's what I see as your 3 months, you know, 3 months, potentially 6 months.
It's great to have them in the CRM and do that management, but it's not like having it in front of your face. And it's also, you know, if you're talking to a buyer as well, and the buyer's saying they want to, you know, buy a certain property, you've got in your mind all of those people there that you've already appraised or whatever, the ones that you want to list, and you might just match them up. So, you know, top of mind awareness to have those properties there. I agree. I'd be carrying it around with me everywhere as well. Which one of the today?
Actually, thanks for mentioning that. One thing I see very, it's rarely done, but I highly recommend it, is that when you're creating appraisals, then you're actually putting the bedrooms, bathrooms, land size, those sorts of details.
Yes.
And also the price that you actually convey to that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then you can go back, like if you're doing like 20 appraisals or 30 appraisals a month, that adds up over.
And like you said in our last podcast, you know, getting ready for AI as well. The more information you're going to have in there, the better it's going to be as well.
100%. So you can search, if someone says I want a 3-bedroom, 1,000 square meters, you can look at within 5 seconds, you can have that all in front of you. Like there's 15 appraisals I've done.
Yeah.
That I can just call them up and say, hey, I've got a cashed up buyer right now. You know, would you be interested in, you know, would you be okay? I can.
And that will help as a listing tool as well. If you're in a property and they're saying, oh, look, I don't know if I'm going to put on the market yet. You know, I don't know where I'm going to go. Well, look, you know, what are you actually looking for? And I can look back through to see if I've got anything here. You know, and maybe that might be something they could do simultaneously as well, you know, just to show them that there are those sorts of properties out there too. Yeah,
fantastic. So one distinction here is really important, is that not all business is good business as well. So if you've got more opportunity you're working through, you're being more of a deal maker, then you're going to have the business that you really want.
Yeah. Not the time waster that's going to put their property on the market at $1 million overpriced, and you think, oh, well, I've got nothing else to sell, so I may as well just take that on.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
definitely. So that's really important. So that's one thing I really encourage. You know, the agencies I'm working with. So just really increase that amount of opportunity, be super organized. Have the data in the database so you can filter, you can search, and you're focusing on the right people at the right time. That's the biggest challenge here. So usually in real estate, there's not sort of as much of a lead generation problem. There's plenty of people making inquiries through REA, domain, through other portals, as well as a website. Okay. But it's all a matter of how do we keep in touch with those people, and how do we organize it so we're actually having the right conversation at the right time with these people. So when they're ready to sell, you're right there, and there's less competition as well, which is a really important thing.
And if people are thinking, how are you qualified to say this information, is because you've seen all the statistics through Rita, through Agent Box, through the portals. You see how many appraisals agents do, you see how many they list, you see, you know, sort of the numbers, which is what you're great at, is the statistics and the tech behind it. You know, you've actually seen what agents are doing. So you've got that background of you know, credibility about seeing a large cross section of agents and what they're achieving or not achieving.
Yeah, 100%. So what we saw is you've got 6 months to actually convert appraisal to a listing. So if someone decides to sell, you got the likelihood of them actually coming to market with anyone at all is 6 months. So what I'd be encouraging is to have a plan around once you've done an appraisal, what's that sequence of communication?
Yeah.
Over 6 months.
Elegant back end marketing. Yeah, to sort of what would you call it, like pipeline, what's the word I'm looking for? Nurturing. You know, over that 6-month period. And it might be a newsletter, then it might be dropping off a market report, and then it might be a phone call, and then it might be, but you know, elegantly for that person. You know, I think it's to me, it's always got to be customized. You know, what's that person looking for? What can I send them that applies to them as well? You know, yeah.
The easiest is just listed, just sold activity. You know, around them. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And so I was with a progressive agency yesterday, and we were going through how we could do that through Agent Box, like the prospector module. So a lot of your audience would be using Agent Box. So you can essentially, you know, click on any address and bring up very quickly all the people that live within 250 meters around any property, and then click a button again and just send an SMS. Hey, just letting you know, we just sold this for a great price. If you got any questions, you know, let me know. So you can have a template, just like within minutes, you've got that done. And that can have I encourage that to be a centralized process.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have to rely on agents.
Yeah, that's right. So there's so many different things you can use as a nurturing sequence, isn't there?
Yeah. And that's something you could do.
Nurturing sequence. That's what I was
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, and also with Reader, if any agencies have got Reader, that can happen automatically. So you can basically Reader, you can set up a campaign in Reader, say, okay, any of our properties, I could send automatically a message about a listing that's sold in the same street.
Yeah.
So same street campaigns are all the most compelling. Just sold same street are the best campaigns, because no one's going to say, oh, that's annoying. They let me know how much the property sold for in the same street just down the road.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And you know, the thing that I loved about Rita, I haven't used it, but from what agents tell me, is that how Rita crawls realestate.com and lets you know any listings that you've had in your database that have been listed by somebody else. Like that would just really get you, wouldn't it? It'd be like,
that's incredible. Yeah.
you
So we
wouldn't
mentioned
want
that
to
before,
look at,
didn't we? Yeah.
you wouldn't want to look at that report, but you'd want to. You'd be like, oh, you know. But yeah, but it hits you where it should, because those people are already in your database and you're not nurturing them. They've gone with somebody else. If you haven't kept in contact with them, bad luck. You know, they went to the agent that followed them up and nurtured them and all that sort of thing. You know, agents want leads, but they're not nurturing the people they've already got, which is so important.
Yeah, correct. So there's different types of opportunities we're talking about here. There's opportunities sitting right in front of them in their CRM, and that basically is a prospecting rhythm, right? So calling people who own property in your database at least every quarter, and doing, you know, and anyone that's on an appraisal, filter those people, making sure you're keeping a sort of a more frequent approach, right, to actually keep in touch with those people about justice is just sold and other market activities. So there's some really interesting, important campaigns. And also to buyers. So anyone that has come to open for inspection, making sure we're actually engaging with those people via email, SMS, and phone call, and having that rhythm going. So we actually identifying that people need to sell before they buy, right, or vice versa. But I think, you know, leading on to the next opportunity is an agent's website.
Yes.
Okay. And I guess overarching everything we're talking about is building a profile, So your brand, your personal brand in the area, so people know, like, and trust you, without you having to work so hard. So having a really good website, great social media presence, and Google reviews as well. And I think second to Google reviews, you've got REA reviews.
Yeah.
Right. So those things, just line them up and make sure that you're doing sort of the best of breed, you might call it, best approach to actually positioning yourself in the best light. Okay?
I mean, I think I always say your website is your resume. People will Google you before they do business with you. And, if you can really showcase yourself in the best possible light through your own website, your resume, and add to it all the time. A website's never finished, keep adding to it all the time. And put video testimonials and things like that. As you said, your brand. And if you can get it that you can put your properties on that website as well, initially just have, even if you've just got a one page about you, like your resume, then the second step would be for me to do like your testimonials and all that. The third step would be then to put your properties on there. So you're diverting people to your website, not to realestate.com. Why would you want to divert people to realestate.com? This is my thoughts. When you've got your own website that, it's your listings, rather than send it to realestate.com where it's the competitors. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, 100%. So essentially what we want to do is use this as part of the ecosystem where we're capturing, okay, if someone's coming to your website, then automatically we want to follow them on social media.
Yeah.
And if they're making inquiries, and I've got a tip, what I'm seeing working extremely well, and one of the best lead sources is, asking what your property's worth on the front page above the fold. And I've got an example to show you here where it's done really well. So if we look at, one of my most favorite real estate agencies in Australia, Harris,
What about EXP?
Hey,
EXP, is it a joint favorite? I hope so.
I hope so. I've just used this as an example, and
yeah, that's all right. I'll let you away with that.
Okay, cool. But let's look at EXP after this. But essentially, this is just components where it's done quite well, right? So we've got the pretty video. We've got the centralized. We've got a positioning, and we have, if you want to sell a property, sell, buy, rent. So essentially, we're not all about properties we're looking to sell. That's not really above the fold. And this, when I say above the fold, it's like what comes up straight away.
Yeah.
And you've got to scroll down. You can see meet our team is the secondary thing. And then also we have properties we think you'll love, right? So these are just aspirational properties.
Yeah.
And something helpful. Looking for an appraisal and so forth. So if we can just put in, I know you have an address, we could just put in here.
I don't, because they're mainly South Australia, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. But I could just put in 32. And this is really good practice as well.
Yeah.
See how we've got all these different addresses, right? So you have a property address, put in your name.
But to me, it should be the website's the center. Everything leads to your website, whether it's social media platforms, the portals, podcasts, whatever it is, flyers, everything should lead to your website, which is in the middle. If you did a mind map, the website's in the middle, everything leads to that.
Correct. And I think not many agencies do it quite well, right? And I like this flow because we're asking, we're actually, who are they? An occupier, an investor. So we're actually getting some really good intel through this process.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're also asking, is there an agent which you're already working with or you already know?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're also qualifying, well, what sort of time frame are you looking at? So this is really good intel, and all this flows into, the CRM as well. Okay.
Exactly. I
and it
think,
sends you a report.
yeah, your website is just like for lead generation is amazing, you know, and also like buyer alerts and all that sort of thing, you know, to have what are you looking for, and we'll let you know as soon as something's listed. I think
Yeah.
that's imperative to have on a website as well.
Yeah, and also profile, you know, I think agents usually do quite well with their photos. But having, you know, really nice photo and so forth, and straight away booking an agent appraisal, right? So having a sort of a nice page for every single agent is
Yeah,
really
that's right.
important.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, there's the little points. Okay, let's go to EXP.
Oh no, don't. No, it's okay. For time. And actually, we're looking at getting a new website too. So yeah, so that's all right, just for time. All right.
Yeah.
Now, what else are we looking at as well today?
Oh, look, okay, so let's just finish off on website.
Oh, sorry.
So any that's okay. So basically what we want to make sure is that all leads from the website actually go into the CRM.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
definitely.
So that's one aspect. If it's not working, most people have a lot of these coming to emails.
Yes,
Okay. There are ways, and feel free to reach out, but there are ways of actually connecting your website to your CRM.
yes,
All
yeah,
right, that's really important. So no
yeah,
matter what website you have, it depends on the website.
yeah,
But if your website doesn't do that and you've got volume of leads, then there's a lot of time being wasted and a lot of opportunity being lost
yeah.
because that connection's not there.
Yeah, and a lot of them won't then get to the database because it's, you know, they haven't got
Yeah.
time, you know, and they haven't written the notes. When it appears in there, it's so much easier just to update. Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
a lot of, so the best quality leads, I'd like to share from my research, the best quality leads usually come from the website.
Yes.
So I'd be respecting those people as much as possible because there's a lot of business there,
Yeah.
right? And
Absolutely.
these are people who are usually, if they're making inquiries, they're looking to list within 6 months.
Yeah. And they've
A lot of them.
searched for you, you know, they
That's
found you.
correct.
Yeah.
So that's one really important thing. And
Yeah.
then if they do actually make inquiries, then the speed to lead is imperative.
Yeah.
The
Speed to lead.
100%.
Yeah.
So speed to lead is, I think, one of the most important aspects to really wrap your resources around and your focus,
Yeah.
because the quicker you're going to call that person, the more impressed they're going to be,
Yeah.
and you're basically way ahead of your competition. Because
Yeah.
if they've also made inquiries with other agencies and you call them within 15 minutes and the other agencies call them the next day, which is pretty average,
Yeah.
you can see how far ahead you are.
Yeah, definitely. Because you ring in 15 minutes, you've already booked the appointment, and the agent that rings tomorrow, the agent's already been there. You know, we
You're
already
way ahead.
listed it.
Right?
But yeah, it surprises me, agents that don't follow up. Like it really does. Yeah, it just
Mm,
always surprises me. But
yeah, it's a very low bar.
yeah, that's right.
Very well known that agents are so busy, so distracted that there's less of a focus on actually just reacting, to these inquiries very quickly, but both buyer inquiries and also inquiries from the website and so forth. So
Right.
the quicker you are, the better.
They spend all this money to make the phone ring, and then they don't call back. Like it blows my mind. You know, thousands of dollars on realestate.com, thousands of dollars in brochures, time, effort, you know, money. And somebody rings or somebody comes to an open house and they don't follow the people up. Like, and then they pay again to get that person to call back again.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really
Absolutely.
busy, actually, there's an interesting challenge I had with a client yesterday. Is a really successful busy agent. His phone number, right, of course, is on every listing. So he gets so many buyer phone calls, right?
Yeah.
So he's trying to resolve that problem. He does have someone who's responsible for buyers. So I guess what do? We transfer. I think basically redirect his number when
Yeah.
he's not when he's busy, which is a lot of the time,
Yeah.
to the person. Like he's got a separate, he'll have a separate phone number for buyer inquiries, which gets
Yeah.
everything's diverted
Or
to.
even to a paging service. Like we used to have a really good
Yeah.
paging service, and then they could dedicate it. You could say today, divert it to this person or send the message to this person. Paging services are good too. Or, you know, yeah.
Yep. If it's a good paging service,
Yeah.
they must
It's still
vary.
called paging service.
Yeah, probably.
I'm
Someone who
sure
answers the
my age.
phone for you.
Yeah. So yeah, voice. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever they're called now. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know a really good one too, which is good. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So lastly, I just thought I'd give an update. Yeah, we're coming up to September. So yeah, it's not far away. So that's when Apple people like me, we always look forward to the new iPhone that comes out.
Yes.
And so iOS 18, that's the new iOS that we're all waiting for. Okay, so the developer version is out right now.
Yep.
So key things for real estate agents is that the new version of AI for Apple is called Apple Intelligence. There's going to be new Siri, and that's all going to be contextual. Okay, and it's
Two-way conversations.
yeah, it's protecting your privacy. Okay, so Apple's very serious about privacy and your data, and so you could actually ask Siri about if someone sent you a message about a listing, and you say, "Oh, send me a link to that listing that Lisa told me about last week." So Siri will be able to go through all your messages, read them, and find all the information that you want out of that.
Oh, I love that. So
Still
that's just the
contextual.
operating system. It's not the new phone, it's the operating system. So everybody that's got an Apple phone will get that Apple
Yeah,
Intelligence.
correct. Yeah, a more recent Apple phone. But the big one, which I'm looking forward to learning more about, is that it'll record and transcribe your phone calls
Oh, really?
and summarize your phone calls automatically. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the big news that I've just learnt about, and I can't wait to see what that means.
And go, be careful what you say.
Not so much. I don't know, but hopefully.
Well, yes, for real estate agents, if they go, oh yeah, you can definitely put another house on this block of land, or you know what I mean? Like, everything, you've always got to cover your backside in writing, in voice, in wherever, because it can come back and bite you. You've always got to act like there's a film crew following you because
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
I actually really good you talked about that because that's right. You don't know if your call is actually recorded and transcribed on the other end.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly. Agents that are making claims and think, oh, well, I can say it to them because, whatever. You've got to be careful. These things could be recorded and then you end up in court. You got to always be careful what you say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And look, there are some nifty devices which you can get right now, which AI device, which you can just tap onto your phone and it does record and transcribe and summarize your calls right now.
Oh, okay.
Don't know how good it is, but yeah, that does exist at the moment. But the trick is, what if we could do that and then put into the CRM, automatically? So your notes, your call notes, one of the biggest challenges I have with a lot of clients is getting agents to actually record the calls or just click on, phone call note.
Well, actually, I'm in, Go High Level.
Yeah.
Yeah, Go High Level. I'm sure they do that too. Like you can call through the program and then it transcribes it as well.
Yes, but that's not through your mobile number.
No. Well, yes, it's a mobile number that they've allocated.
Yeah, but it's not your
No, not this one. But it comes through my phone, like any messages and everything go through.
Yeah, correct. So that's a digital number.
I can call through something called Lead Connector, and then that transcribes. So
correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so
that
the
becomes the digital number. So the numbers that agents have on their phones, which they've had for years, that's just a standard number.
Yeah.
And not a digital number.
Yeah. So that, you can be recorded both ways. Yeah. Well, that's going to be interesting. And this even I sort of did a lot of research with ChatGPT when it first came out. And it's like, it's even more important now to show up on SEO because, people will be saying, hey, Siri, who's the best real estate agent? Oh, she's listening to me. Who's the best real estate agent in whatever area? And obviously it's going to go from Google rankings and all of that sort of stuff. So, it's even more important to work on your SEO because people are going to not really pick up their phones and do a search. It's just going to be, well, according to blah, 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 this person's the best agent. So, I would be aiming to be on that top of that thing, that voice activated Siri or whoever, for who the best agent is in your area. Do everything to, get organic ranking, to get sponsored ads, to do whatever you need to do to get up there, because that's going to be, people are going to get lazier and lazier. We don't have to pick up our phone anymore. We can just have a conversation.
Well, Google reviews is
Google reviews. Yeah.
And that's probably one of the most important things.
But the thing I love about ChatGPT now, it says the sources. Where it first came out, you were like, where did you get these sources? Where did you get this information from? So when an agent, if you look at it now and you go, who is the best agent in Runaway Bay, it will say the sources. So then you can go, okay, that source is realestate.com, or that source is, reviews or whatever. Aim to be in that, aim to rank wherever those sources are. It gives you a clue. You know what I mean?
Good. Excellent. Yeah. Well, there you go. Hopefully we've shared some valuable nuggets.
That was good. And then next week, what are we going to talk about next week? Have you got any idea yet?
Oh my goodness.
You're on the spot. Well, let's see what transpires over the next week. Everything's changing so much. Maybe an update on ChatGPT as well, just some of the functionality, that agents can use ChatGPT for. That would be good.
You can certainly extend on what we just shared before, if you like.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right, wonderful. Thank you so much again for our real estate tech talk. Talk like a TED talk, but tech. That's good. So I'll see you next week as well. Fantastic. And if anybody's got any questions they want Tristan to cover, or any topics you think would be relevant, then let us know as well.
Right.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have a question about real estate, then please join the group on Facebook, also called Let's Talk About Real Estate. For those of you who are interested in EXP, please join us at 10 a.m. Brisbane time every Wednesday morning for EXP Explained. Thank you again for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, and see you next week.